I'm joined by John Bentley, a CBS News producer, reporter, digital journalist who has spent a lot of time in Libya as well as Afghanistan. John, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So Libya is crumbling. The Gaddafi regime seems to be on its way out. Now, you spent your summer vacation in Libya. So what have you heard that you can tell us that's going on right now from your experience reporting from there?
Yeah, not much of a vacation, I'm afraid to say, but yeah, there's still pockets of fighting throughout Tripoli. Still have several friends, journalists at the Rixos Hotel in Tripoli, which is where all the journalists have to stay when you want to cover the regime from that part of Libya, and they're all still holed up in the hotel and sort of, just kind of keeping an eye on what's going on. They say they hear a lot of gunshots, a lot of gunfire, loud bombings. I think NATO's probably still bombing Gaddafi's main headquarters, Bab al-Aziza, which is only a couple of kilometers from the hotel. So when they bomb that, you definitely hear it. And they've been doing that for months since the campaign started, and it looks like the fighting still continues there.
Now, in your month there, I'm sure you had some interesting experiences with the minders and the Gaddafi people and trying to talk to some of the local people. Anything you can share with us? Yeah,
that's one of the real challenges of trying to report in Libya, is that you are so tightly controlled by the Gaddafi regime. I mean, you can't fly into Tripoli because of the no-fly zone. Literally, you're picked up at the border of Tunisia by the government. They drive you into Tripoli and they put you up at this hotel where you can't leave without government minder with you.
And supposedly they only take you to places or show you things that they want you to see, but it seems like reporting was still getting out as to the real story going on there.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, they do only take you out to what they want you to see, and they try to spin it their way. They say, NATO is bombing civilians and this sort of thing, but you sort of kind of look around and say, you know what, this doesn't look like a civilian area, or you say, well, this could have been a command and control center. You can see sort of military hardware, and they try and say, oh, no, pay no attention to that, but pay attention to what we want to show you over here. So you sort of just have to look through that veneer that the Gaddafi regime likes to put up and really get to the heart of what's going on, and that's been that the Gaddafi regime has been indicted for crimes against humanity. So they've been doing a lot of bad things for a very long time, according to the UN criminal courts, and that's what we're there to see, to what's really going on and what they've been trying to hide for so many years.
Now, the journalist in Tripoli at that time, you're covering Gaddafi and his family, and they're saying things like, we will never leave, and NATO are the bad guys, and the United States is evil. And I mean, in the people that you talk to, and seemingly from what we're seeing now, as the Gaddafi people are on their way out, that the craziness of that regime just wasn't really taken seriously.
It wasn't taken seriously by the rest of the world. Unfortunately, you had to take it seriously if you were a Libyan citizen, because he's been in power since 1969. There's a whole generation of people who know nothing but Muammar Gaddafi. So, with the arrival of the internet and with satellite TV, you could see the cracks beginning to form. You could see people sort of not having to listen to state TV, not having to listen to the Gaddafi and his sons, and really sort of see what they were living under, which was a dictatorship. But there's still a lot of people that are very loyal to him. As we said, there's fighting happening right now, and still people loyal to that regime. But the cracks are showing, and the rebellion that sprung up in Benghazi and has been gathering steam all over Libya is coming to a head.
It seems like that reality distortion field is finally breaking down.
Yeah, it does, and there are still, like I say, there's some people who will fight to the death for him. But yeah, amongst a lot of people, it really is breaking down. It's a surreal sort of country to be in. I mean, you see huge, or you did probably until the rebels got into Tripoli, you'd see huge posters and pictures of Gaddafi everywhere. I mean, you couldn't go more than a block or two without seeing a billboard or a picture or something of the brother leader, as he calls himself. So it is very much a throwback to the times when one man, through a cult of personality, could really control an entire country.
And just from being there and your experience, how do you think this will differ as we go out into into this new government? How do you think it'll differ from the way that Iraq ended up or is ending up?
Well, that's a good question and a good parallel. I think it depends. Well, first of all, they don't know where Muammar Gaddafi is, so I think they first have to find him, and then to decide, will the Transitional National Council, will they put him on trial in Libya? Will he go to The Hague? How is that going to be handled? I mean, Saddam was handed over to the Iraqis and he was hung. Will that happen to Gaddafi, or will he stand trial for his crimes? Those are some big questions, and I don't think anybody really knows the answers to that yet. It looks like Saif, sort of one of Gaddafi's many sons, but certainly, excuse me, his second in command and a very powerful leader in that country, has been captured. And
seemed like he was a pretty easy capture.
Yes, I mean, you know, the rebels have always said, we know where these guys are. You know, we just need to wait until we have enough, you know, enough people there to find them. So I think his father probably won't be as easy, but we'll see. And then where they go from here. I mean, democracy is a messy business, and we'll see how it ends up. But I think there's basically two choices. Does he stand trial in Libya, or does he go to The Hague and stand trial at the International Criminal Court?
Well, thanks, John.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
I've been speaking with John Bentley from CBS News. I'm Dan Farber. Thanks for watching.